Hey everybody, Riot Mort here, back with another patch post-mortem to talk about the things that went right, the things that went wrong, and all the other crap we screwed up, and talk about that. And today I am joined by none other than Deisik. Deisik, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm doing all right, and I'm happy to be here.
Nice, nice. So for anyone who doesn't know you, why don't you give your quick introduction, like how long you've been playing TFT and all that jazz?
I'm playing TFT from like set 2, I will say, when I take a game more competitive and trying to invest a little more time into it. And since then, most of the time, I'm like top 10, top 1, top 5, top 20, top 100, whatever. Just a good rank on US ladder. And in last set, I will also went on Worlds first time.
Nice, nice, cool. All right, so patch 13 was the first patch where we got to do a lot of big stuff in a while because we had that whole like 13.1c issue and yada yada. But we got out things like the gadgetine rework, and the four. Obviously, the big news was the 4 hero augment rerolls. Generally, what we've seen, and tell me if I'm wrong, because admittedly I haven't played as many live games this patch. But we've actually seen not great of a meta. It's very AD focused. The end game is often very much Samira, Aphelios, and legendaries. And so those are usually the strongest boards. And so the meta ended up kind of in a narrow spot. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I would say because it becomes I kind of liking endgame boards because you looking to play ED champions with your EP carries, but ED champions can do that better because of like Last Whisper is like way too broken, I guess. And like for example, like it's like synergized like very well with like sword shots and Urgot, and just it's like too much like single target damage and mm, units on enemy like front line just like melts too fast.
Yeah.
And EP comp can do that. They always need to ramp up and have some sort of scaling. So ED comps a much better late game because of that.
Yep. Cool. All right, so let's talk about the changes and see how we kind of got there and go from there. So obviously the first big thing was the 4 hero augment rerolls. Pretty controversial thing we were launching to hopefully make the game more fun. What I'll say, my opinion so far, is that it has been successful, but in the sense that like it's pretty clear the more rerolls is better. It's having more fun, but we
Yeah.
have some big work to do with our distribution system. There's a lot of lack of clarity of like how it works. You'll think you can get a Vayne carry augment and then you'll roll down and miss it completely. And I think we have a lot of work and follow up to do on that to really make it good. But once that's done, I still think the 4 rerolls was an improvement.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like definitely that's a good thing to add like to the game, and you have like more options, and I do not feel like oh like I'm going to get like three rerolls and I will completely miss any of the like support units I want to play on my board and stuff like that. But because like rules have a few like secret rules, not all people knows, right? And
Yep.
like how it works. After like a few changes like to that, I think like 4 year olds will be feels like a bit better at all stages of the game,
Yeah.
like not only like at 3-2, for example.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. The other thing I'll follow up on is I think 3 cost hero augments show up a little too often right now compared to like 1, 2, 4, and 5. There's just a little bit. It's too easy to get 3 at every stage of the game, and some of those 3 cost augments are not that great. So I think we have a lot of work to do in the 3 cost augment space as well.
I'll say like it's also because there is a huge gap between like 3 cost hero augments. I would say like my favorite ones it's Riven and Vayne like by far
Yep.
than like rest of the
I
carry
assume you mean
augments
the Riven carry and
and
spread
Vayne
shot.
carry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I think both of them just have insane like amount of damage boost
Yep.
on the scene. It's
I agree. Cool. All right. Item tooltips. I mean, yeah, item tooltips are great. Woohoo.
it's very nice. It's super clear now.
Yeah. Next thing we want to do is we want to do some work on the champion tooltips. That's the next one. So at some point we'll get that in. Cool. All right. Trait changes. So, okay, gonna go over these pretty quick. The admin health threshold variation. I think this was actually successful. I think this is a variation that now has some playable outputs. I know I had a game where I got the AD variation on an admin Zed. I saw Dish Soap got a game where he had the AP variation on an admin Acel. So it's nice to see this at least be playable. So that was good.
Yeah, like it's definitely a good change because like previously it was kind of a dead admin. You never want to play around it, and now you can at least like think about it and like maybe do some good stuff with it.
Nice. All right, the Gadgetine rework. This one was really, really risky, but Gadgetine 5 was basically an unplayable trait. I could be wrong here, and I'm curious your take here, but I think this was a massive success. I think we actually got it right. I think Gadgetine is playable, but not OP. And so it's nice to see Gadgetine be good. What are your thoughts?
I would say you still kind of like in damage with like Zoe carrier like and stuff, but it's much better with emblem. Like if you have like Argentine emblem, or like if you play like reroll like variation with Wukong, Poppy, Lulu and stuff.
Yeah.
Because Zoe kinda don't have enough like DPS to like sustain your board, even if you have Nunu. So you kinda need to have emblem or like 3-star units like to have success, I think, with 5 gadgetins.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you compare Gadgetine to like Sure Shot, obviously Gadgetine's way
Yeah.
worse, and so it can't succeed. But I think once Sure Shot is brought down, Gadgetine might still be in the right spot. And I agree that Zoe's struggling in a Gunblade meta. She can never kill anything. And what I will say is the augments really needed to give the emblem now.
Yeah.
And
That will be
so,
much better.
yeah, that's coming next patch, and so that'll make it a lot better. But if you can get an emblem like out of a Tome of Traits, it's actually really fun now. Cool. Okay, Laser Core. This was the adjustment to Laser Core, and I'll be honest, I think it was fine, but honestly didn't do much. I think Laser Core is still Laser Core. It's the exact same as it was before. It's good early. It falls off late. It feels a
Yeah,
little better, but I don't know if it was really worth the work.
yeah. I would say it's still like insane like difference between 7 and 9 still. Like 7 is like almost never good like late game board. You probably lose like more rounds like than win
Yep.
at late game. Always no matter what board you have, no matter what arguments you have.
Yeah.
And 9 still like insane spike and just too strong sometimes if it's mm, like low tempo arguments like silver hearts and stuff.
Yeah, nine is the highest chase trait we have in the game, so that being good is okay. But I agree with you that like 7 has this really toxic curve still, where it's like really good in
Yeah.
stage 3 and maybe stage 4, and then falls off a cliff and you lose every round in stage 5. So
I would say it's also because of how meta at the moment is because everyone just run Aegis and there's like tick
yeah,
damage. It's just too low
yeah.
after like
If you don't have an
stage 5
Ionic
and
Spark
later.
or a Shiv, you're just in
Yeah.
trouble. So yeah, cool. Okay, Ox Force. Good. This bug fix, not bug fix, but like design change was good. You actually get your anima stacks now. You actually get your thrill procs now. So like, good. Hooray.
Yeah,
Cool.
agree.
Sweet. And then Underground. I'm glad this worked out. This seems to have been a good change. It's more fun to play. Underground 6 isn't OP. So I don't know. I'm actually like, I think this worked really well.
Yeah, I would say like definitely a good change and it's open like more different things you can do with it. You can play 4, you can play 5 sometimes. So it's like very nice. But I will say, like especially because I'm playing Queen China server now, people like Underground way too much, and some lobbies are just insane. When like
Yep.
4 people, 5 people are greeting for 2 or 3 haste, all of them have like 3, 4 extra components at stage 4, and it feels like very bad to play against them. So I would
Mm,
say maybe like a small nerf to 3 or 2 cash outs because like it feels like early mercs in previous set when like you just fight against it and you just
yeah.
well I guess I'm going to lose this fight and nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. The data does show that like if you have Underground at 2-1, your average finish goes up pretty dramatically. I kind of agree with you that like that maybe there's a point where like Heist 2 and Heist 1 need like a small nerf. so that if you really want to go deep, you have to go like heist 3, heist 4 to really get those payouts. Because I think it is too easy to run like underground 3, cash out on the second heist, maybe the third heist, get a bunch of extra items as you said, and then win out from there. So I agree.
I will say specifically, like a level 2 haste, which give you like 3 components or like full item and components. Like this two is just like way too easy to get basically,
Yep.
and like specifically, which like we have like this like little problem with the game with the amount of like components. It just like give you more possibilities and options how you can play a game, which with not a lot of HP like you need to trade like to get that,
Right.
and it's increase you um like loot game ports like way too much
Yep.
of like specific components you can get.
Makes sense. All right, on to champions. Lux. I think this change was good, but I think the mistake was not nerfing the carry augment also. I think the carry augment's a little too good, but it's nice that Lux is actually an okay unit to play in stage 2 now.
Yeah, I would say like Lux is definitely EP item holder now.
Yep.
And you have options. You can play like Gadgetins with Lulu, or you can play Lux with Alexa Guardians early game. So
Yep.
this change was definitely correct
Sweet.
and right.
All right. Draven. This one, I don't know. I'm curious your take on this one because my read on this is that like Draven isn't really playable, but the reason Draven isn't playable is because Sure Shot is so good, and Sure Shot takes out Draven pretty with ease. And so I think once Sure Shot's nerfed, Draven might be at the correct spot. But right now, Draven seems mostly not great.
I think Draven like is still good, but you never win a game basically because people will always outscale you with legendaries, and you kind of
Gotcha.
have a bad matchup against that. But I would say like Draven as a unit are very powerful, and like if you have good items and good arguments, you can still have success with it. So yeah, I will like agree and say like in different metal, Draven will be much stronger.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Fiora, this change was too minor. Fiora is still just an uneventful, boring unit that really needs
Yeah,
more love than this. It's not enough.
agree. It's like I'll say, well, if you're like, I won't get any buffs this patch because it feels same unit, especially if you play like less like duelists. At the moment in the meta, it's
Yep.
like you don't see this unit like more often on enemy
Yeah.
boards.
Agree. Jinx. I think this change was a success. I think Jinx is finally another good item carrier, kind of like Lux. I think the hero augment rework also helped. There's actually like Jinx builds that can work now. So I think Jinx might finally be where she's supposed to be, thank God.
Yeah, like I will say, like it's also like very nice because of Oxforce. I got like change rate this patch, so you
Oh,
can
right.
actually get stacks of it. So like I do like to play Anima Squad this patch because it's kind of like a fun comp. You can like scale up in a game, and you can also have success with it because Riven Tristar is very nice, Vayne Tristar is very nice, Jinx Tristar very good, is very nice. So you have like a lot of like different options you can play into late game. So that's okay.
Nice. Cool. Jax. Okay, I'm just gonna shortcut this because Jax, we found another bug. So like, great, we fixed a bug, but we found another bug. I'll talk about it in the patch rundown. But Jax is turning out to be the buggiest unit of the whole set, which is crazy because all he does is auto attack. But yeah, TLDR, Jax is causing me a nightmare. And it's not like Jax is playable right now or anything, so I don't know. I'm not really happy with Jax right now.
Yeah, it's like because I'm playing like on different server, like it's not the same, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's a bit like a weird champion.
Yep. Talia. I mean, she needed the buff. She needed more than this, though, unfortunately. And Talia right now is the worst 4 cost in the game. So I think this just wasn't enough. She's just not good enough right now.
Yeah, like specifically because it's Belvat and Samira meta, and both of these carries have a healing item on them. So you'll never kill an enemy carry basically, like if you play Talia. It's not enough DPS.
Yep. Apologies, by the way, the roofers are hitting, so if you hear any slamming or loud noises, that's what's going on there, viewers. Sorry about that. Viego, obviously some bug fixes here, a little bit of a nerf. I think, again, this might have been correct in the long term. It's just the meta right now. Viego just really struggles with the Belveth, struggles with the AD comps, has a bad matchup. And so, again, this might have been correct in the long term, but it's not really working right now.
Yeah, like you're a bit like lacking damage like when you play Viego, and also I think you like wait to like tolerate to found the app failures at level 8. We have like a secondary carry on backline with
All right.
Source.
Janna. Okay, so obviously a lot of this was a bug fix to Janna. What I will say is that the stun duration nerf was correct, the windy nerf was correct, and we fixed her bug. Cool, that's fine. But this and her hero augment, she still isn't really in a great place. You basically never want to put items on her. There's no spell slinger fantasy. So I still think Janna needs a lot more work to really shine and be an exciting champion. Again, you play her for Windy sometimes, or you play her for Sunny sometimes, but overall, I'm still not really pleased with Janna.
Yeah, like you said, like you play like Janna for Sunny or Windy, and that's all.
Yep. Okay, so now moving on to items. Infinity Force, we finally gave it the 25 mana and critical strike. And from what I can tell, this item's like kind of OP again. It's like really good. And so maybe it didn't need the 25 critical strike chance.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's like the best Ornn item right now, other than Collector at 2-1. Collector at 2-1 might be a little better, but yeah, I think this was a bit of an overbuff.
It's like way too good again, you know.
Yep. Okay, and then obviously hero augments. There were a lot of hero augment adjustments. One of our big focuses moving forward is that we got to make sure augment balance continues to get better. So I'm going to go through these pretty quick. Stop me if anything is like we really got to go deep on. But all right.
Okay.
Galio Justice Punch. I think this was a great buff, but it was a microscopic too good. If this was 140, I think it was perfect.
I don't know. I never play Galio, so
yeah.
Like I don't have like my opinion about it.
Okay. Gangplank. I think this was a mistake. This change should never have happened. Gangplank is too good now.
I agree, but I don't think like it changed much. I will say he's maybe like too good at the unit at 3-star, like in general. Outside of that, like hero augment as well.
Gotcha.
So like if like hero augment make him like viable carry, maybe then like base stats should be lower it on 3-star.
Lux, I think this one was fine. I think this augment's takeable now. As soon as the meta shifts to more AP, I think this will be a lot better. So,
yeah, like we don't have enough data about this augment because like we have like a different meta. So.
Right. Renekton, I think this was an overbuff. I think this one should have been 65 or 70. I think this augment's just a little too good. It's not like breaking the meta or anything, but it is a little too good right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cool. Kingslayer, this was a good nerf. Honestly, it needed a little more of a nerf, but like good. Now it's not like oppressive, so this was a good nerf.
Yes.
Cool. Talon, I think this one was fine. Good nerf. I think the augment's where it's supposed to be now.
Yes.
Cool. All right, Annie. This augment is basically this proves to me this augment is dead. Like if this augment can't work at these numbers, this augment needs a rework. It is like the top of my list for a rework. This augment is still trash. You should basically never take it. So it's not a great augment.
Yeah. It's because like Picoms not have like a huge amount of like front lane, right? So like your shield will always get like burned like very fast. So.
Yep.
You're not dealing enough DPS of that augment.
Exactly. Fiora, same thing. I think this augment is still garbage. I think Fiora's not great. I actually played this augment, and you don't even get the armor and MR till she finishes her stab. And so it takes so long. It just this augment's bad too.
Agree.
Cool. Jinx. I think this augment was a success. I think this rework really helped. I think the 40% AS matters. You could even argue this is supposed to be 35, not 40. It's a little good, but like it's nice for Jinx to finally be playable. So honestly, I think this was a success.
Yeah, like Zagmata like is very good now, and it's very powerful. Maybe a bit too strong, but I think it's okay because like Jinx was a very bad champion for a long time.
Yep. Lee Sin, Invigorate. I think this was fine. It didn't change much. Honestly, the augment's still a little bad. So maybe this could have gone to 5 seconds, but eh.
Mm, yeah, it's because of like attack speed like buff only good for Jax maybe. So like in different meta, like this Lee Sin augment will be a bit better.
Yep. Malphite. This augment's terrible. Malphite and Fiora are like the 2 worst champions in the game right now. And so Malphite augments are sure enough bad. So this didn't do anything. This is another unplayable augment. I mean, good we buffed it, but it's still bad.
Yeah. Like I played it once and I went 8th, so that was not a good experience.
Yeah. Rel, I'm actually biased here, so I'm curious your take. I think this augment is like insane. And I think when Sure Shot comes down, this augment's going to be busted. I was nervous to do this buff. It's working because of this meta right now, but mark my words, like in a patch or 2, we're gonna have to nerf it. Is my guess.
I would say like people like don't know about 7 like Star Guardians be very good, and you actually win a lot of games with it.
Yep.
And like specifically with this augment with damage reduction, like you're all like casting non-stop and like not dying basically.
Yep.
This augment is insanely strong.
Yeah, like I said, I think in a patch or 2, it's going to end up getting nerfed again. So we'll see. Misfortune. This change was good because now Make It Rain on stage 3 isn't an obvious like win. It's actually probably still too good, and it might need to go down to 8 gold. But I'm glad this nerf got in because with 4 rerolls, Make It Rain would have been insane.
Yeah, it's like it definitely was like too much gold at 3-2 and later in the game. Yeah, I agree with it.
Set. I think this change was okay in the sense that like Protector's Vow is better than Locket. I think this augment's still bad and basically not worth taking right now.
Yeah, it's like I would say like effect of that augment, like you don't see it, like as Romagans, another, sorry, like on other arguments you can see like what your units are doing and what the like effects like they gain, and with this argument you don't even know like like what is going to happen. So,
yeah, I agree. Okay, the Janna carry augment rework to category 5. I think this was a win in the sense that it's a clearer to understand augment, and was a massive failure in the sense that it, I think, is like the 2nd worst augment in the game right now, because Janna is still terrible. So I think this was a failure. I think, we really should have done more work on Janna before we shipped this augment, and so this feels like a big failure to me.
Yeah, I would say like I will never pick it if it like appears in my augment chest.
Yep, and that's not a good thing. So, the Nunu buff to They See Me Rolling. This was a good change. The augment's a little better now. It's still not one of the better augments, but like it was a good change.
Yeah, okay, that.
Cool. All right, on the augment side, Ancient Archives giving gold. That was a success. I think that was fine.
Yes, like specifically like in early game, it's like very nice like to get extra gold of it, and sometimes you can save reroll now and pick a Tom, and you can use it later in the game.
Yeah, I actually think this is one of those cases where we might have to make like Ancient Archives 2+, where it's like if you get it on 2-1, you get like 6 gold, and then if you get it on like 3-2 or 4-2, you get like 8 or 10 gold. Because on 2-1, I actually think Ancient Archives 2 is busted.
Yeah, like I would say like it's probably auto pick at 2-1.
Yeah, and that's probably a little too good. But again, it's nice that they're at least playable now, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Birthday Present, no longer getting gold on level up. This was a good change. The augment's balanced now. Sweet. Brawler Crown, yep, fine change. Did what it was supposed to. Okay, Clear Mind and Cluttered Mind. I think these were both successful changes. It nerfed it nerfed Clear Mind, it buffed Cluttered Mind, and they're both like appropriate now. They're strong augments, but they're not like 60% top 4 rate augments anymore. So I'm calling this one a win.
Yes, like I definitely agree on that one because it feels like it's fair trade now. Like with the amount of experience you gain, so like, it's kind of like a gold argument, right? And like it's not like OP anymore, and it feels like it's not auto win at one.
Yep. All right, Heart Crown granting a guard breaker. Fine. Again, it nerfed the augment. That's what we needed, so it's fine.
Yeah, like on this one, I will actually like want to say if it's possible, like this argument like will give you a dummy instead of item, just one dummy.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's one of those things that right now with the crowns, like because of the variant power of all the different traits, it feels like some of the really bad crowns almost want like 2 items, and some of the really good crowns almost want like just a component or like you said a dummy or something else. And so I wonder in the future if we're going to have to like be more willing to break the framework of they're always a 3 cost and an item. So
yeah.
Hustler, same as Clear Mind, Cluttered Mind. I think Hustler was another good change. It nerfed it a bit.
Yes.
And it's healthy. Cool. Now for the opposite, though, March of Progress. This change was bad. This augment got kicked in the nuts and went from like the best augment in the game to really, really bad. And I admit this was probably my biggest failure of this patch. I was not expecting it to drop this hard. Lesson learned. And so I think in a future patch, we're going to have to do something a little more drastic to get it in that in-between because, man, that balance is tricky.
Yeah, it's like has this like later levels are very important, and like you're losing like a lot of rounds and HP because of that. Like you level like later than other players. So yeah, I agree with that.
Cool. Mecha Prime Crown item change. This worked. I mean, you could debate the item, but like it did what it needed to. It moved the augment up. Great.
Yeah.
Pandora's items back in the augment pool. I'm happy to see this augment again. I like this augment. It's a fun one, so I like it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Prankster Crown and Recon Crown, same thing. They did the nerf Spellslinger Crown. Like all of these did what they were supposed to, which was, change them. So I'm happy with all these item changes, to be honest.
I would say like Spellslinger like Crown is a bit too weak, maybe like term of item you gain. Another 2 are fine.
Makes sense. Cool. On the small side, Anima getting a buff at 5 and 7 seems fine. I've had no problems with it.
Yeah, like it's definitely like I feels like a real comp now, and you can always look into like vertical animal, like instead of always like playing 3 for HP bonus only and stuff.
Yeah, which has been kind of nice. Like sometimes it's worth playing 7 Anima. So yeah.
Yeah.
Brawler, the buff at 4 and 6 was correct here. What I will say is that Brawler, now that Jax is kind of struggling, is still just not really a trait. I think sure shots eat them up too quickly. So, it's funny coming off of 1223 where the Brawler Soraka comp was so good, but I think Brawler might even need more after this.
Yeah, like I would say it's like very like important to have a good admin as well for like on kill or like global buff, which is help make this comp like a bit more better.
Yep. Mascot healing. I think mascot healing is now in a fine spot. It's just that they have to carry Galio, who's not as good as he was before, Malphite, who's one of the worst champs in the game. And so it's like now the trait is where it's supposed to be. It's time to put some power back in the champions. And I think everyone's afraid of the 1223 Yuumi meta again.
Yeah. And I think like 6 mascot is actually quite nice this patch, but it's like very hard to play and you probably need to have some like weird setups like to make it work.
Yep. Kale buff, fine. I think this is good. No problem.
Yeah.
Vel'Koz tooltip, yep, it's a tooltip. And Thieves Gloves, yep. So
like I actually hear about like some people saying it's too good now, but I feel like it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, the changes were really minor, so I don't think there was anything there. So the last thing to talk about is the stuff that isn't in the notes. Again, I am so sorry. These roofers, man. The things that aren't in the notes, right? And so I think some of the big misses this patch were not hitting Sure Shot power. I think Sure Shot was pretty nutty. Gunblade, I think, is really warping the meta. And then Lee Sin, the bug we found where 2 Lee Sins can reset their shields. I think those were the 3 biggest misses that just weren't in the notes that needed to be.
Yeah, I would say it's too easy like to play like sword shots, and it's like too powerful, and it's like such a simple comp which require like no positioning, like stuff like that. You just like put items on units and like they win rounds for you basically, and it's like too powerful as well. 2, 4, and like with hearts and emblems as well. It's just too good on all aspects of the game.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, so I think that's most of it. Is there anything else on the patch you wanted to call out?
I don't know. I would say like threat units are too good. Like Fiddlestick and Urgot one, like specifically Urgot, this unit is just insane. Just doing everything at the same time. Damage, CC, gold farm, component farm, and require like not rates with him, like just always play him on your board.
Yep.
Just too strong.
Yeah, I agree. I think Urgot in particular, you're right, probably is in that top of misses. Urgot 1 is just so insane, so much value. I think Belveth 1 actually, in like if you get an early Belveth 1 is also in the same spot. Fiddle, I'm on the fence. I think Fiddle is good, but I don't think he's quite as warping as the other 2 actually. But because he's a threat, he's so easy to include in every comp. So he feels a lot better than I think maybe the others. But I think I'm like super agree that like Urgot and Belveth are the 2 that really needed to hit.
It's like it's a bit weird, like if you found like whatever.
No, it's all good.
Just move traffic.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that you'd rather have an Urgot 1 than a Mord 2 sometimes, that says a lot. So cool. Okay, so yeah, I mean, obviously, future patches here is hit some of those stuff we talked about, and then still a lot more hero augment work to do. When there's 118 hero augments, getting the balance of them is a little tricky. So a lot more coming, but yeah. A lot of, I think it was a little unfortunate that a lot of tournaments are being played on this patch too, because again, it's so sure shot heavy. That's my I really, really regret just how good sure shot is right now.
I would say like tournaments is a bit RNG in terms of if there is early hero arguments, it's changing meta, right? And you can play more reroll comps then. But if it's like late hero arguments, or if it's like 3-cost hero arguments, everyone just looking to play like sword shots only, or like Belvents and stuff, and just
Yeah, I agree with that. It feels like there are 2 different meta games, right? It's the 1-cost, 2-cost hero augment meta game, and then the late game meta game. So that's also a bit tricky. So cool. All right. Well, that's it for the postmortem. Like I said, some learnings, some things to get better. Apparently some roofs to fix. Again, my God, sorry about this. So Deisik, thank you for joining me. Is there any other closing thoughts or shout outs you wanted to say?
Not really, just enjoy a game, and I make sure you will always have a fun in TFT, or no, just watch other streamers play, and like enjoy a game in different way, basically. Like, so I would say like if you don't have fun like playing TFT, or you think like meta like not good for you, just watch like instead, and you will still have fun. You can chat with other players and stuff like that. So yeah, you can always like find a way to enjoy TFT if you want. So yeah,
I agree. Worst case, just play Underground. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, again, thank you, Deisik, for joining me, and thanks everybody for watching. As always, let me know who you'd like our next guest to be. I'm always looking to get more guests, more different regions as well. So yeah. All right. That's gonna do it for me. Until next time, take it easy.